if some literals can be unified, the same algorithm should be able to unify the terms also. Can you see that or not? So, you have a clause which is a set of literals. Now, let us take only 2 literals there. You want to unify those 2. So, you start matching from the left side, right. The same way, suppose there are 2 terms, f of something and g of something and so on. Now, if their first symbols match, then only you can unify. So, after they match, you start finding out. The same way you can also see that terms can be unified, right. Anyway, they are just strings, you are unifying the strings by choosing one variable to be substituted by a term, fine. But there is one danger in finding out that one variable is x, the other variable is a term where x occurs. Suppose mismatch occurs at these 2 points, then how will you unify it? Let us see an example. Suppose you have p, one literal is p x y, another literal is p f of x y. Now, when the unification algorithm works, it finds out both of them as p. So, perhaps it is unifiable, it goes for the next step, sees x and f of x. So, you should give x here, f of x as the term, x as the variable. So, it goes for the substitution x by f of x, right. So, then it updates the formulas, updates the literals to f of x y p f of x y, fine, and it does not mark that place to omit it and then go for the next mismatch. It again starts from the beginning. So, it sees that p is there, it matches. Now, f is there, matches, parenthesis matches. Now, x and f of x, right. So, you see the danger, it will go on looping over there, it will never be able to come out. Okay. So, all it says is that this also should be a condition for telling that in such cases the literals are not unifiable. The same thing happens for terms, instead of p you will have some g of something and g of something, right. So, same thing also can happen for the terms, fine. So, what are the cases when the literals will not be unifiable or the terms are not unifiable? First thing is they should start, if they start any one of them starts with negation symbol, then all of them should start with the negation symbol, right. So, in other words we can say their first symbols are the same, whether it is a term or a literal starting with the negation symbol or not, all their first symbols should be same, either it is a not symbol or it is a predicate symbol or it is a function symbol, fine. So, once this happens, then only it goes to the next step, then it tries to find the mismatch. Okay. So, once a mismatch is found, one of them should be a variable, the other should be a term, at least one of them should be a variable. If both are variables, then it takes the first one as variable, next one as the term. Okay. If they are terms, then again it would have matched the symbols, function symbols. At that instant, if the function symbols do not match, it will say it is not unified, right. So, ultimately it should come to a variable and a term. So, once a variable comes and a term comes, then it checks whether this variable occurs in that term or not. If it occurs, then it is not unifiable, right. If it does not occur, then it tries to construct a substitution x by t. So, with this substitution it now updates the 2 literals. Okay. So, after updating, it again goes to the first step, starts from the matching and it continues. Is it okay? So, this is how it goes to compute the most general unifier. Now, our aim was to use the most general unifier for resolution. Okay. Let us see one example. Say we will take very simple example. Suppose we have for each x, h x implies m x and m of a entails say h of a entails m a. Okay. So, in resolution what we will do is try to convert all these things to SCNF, where we will get the disjunctive clauses. Then we should take the resolution on the disjunctive clauses as in PL, that is what we are doing, but somewhere most general unifier can be helpful. Okay. So, let us see. So, when converting to clause set we would get from this as Hx implies Mx for all x is simply omitted, right. So, that is same thing as not Hx or Mx, this is a clause. So, manually when we write with R, but a machine would take it as a set of those two literals, right. Then we have HA and we bring it to the other side for using reductio ad absurdum. We want to see that this gives you bottom by taking the resolvents. Okay. So, now when you take resolvent of these two, it sees one is not Hx, another is HA. So, imagine this is not HA. So, it would have gone for the conclusion as Mx, right, if it is not HA, but it is not exactly HA, it is X. So, here is the role of the most general unifier. Now, it tries to unify not Hx with not HA, putting another not here, because unification needs both of same, right. So, what it does, unifies not Hx with HA. So, this set of literal it computes sigma as the MGU of this set, okay, with one not symbol added. Okay. Then it sees that x divided by or x by a is the substitution. Now, it applies the substitution here and then takes resolvent. Okay. So, once applies substitution, this is not HA, MA and HA. So, the resolution gives MA. So, all this done in one step, apply the most general unifier and then resolve, that whole thing is called resolution. Now, fine, it is just like propositional resolution, but before it we should apply the most general unifier. So, the most general unifier of what? Not Hx, not HA, one not symbol is added here, fine. Then it gets x by a as the substitution. So, it corresponds to your universal specification. This would have been for all x not Hx or Mx, from which you conclude not HA or MA, fine. Then not HA and HA resolve to give you MA, fine. Next step would be of course not MA and MA to give bottom. Okay. Let us see one more example before giving the resolution rule. I just change it a bit, take say for each x, for each y, say p x y implies q x y, and I have another which says for each y p y a. Therefore, I should get for each y q y a. Okay. It looks all right semantically. So, let us try to see what happens. So, when I take use array, it will come as not of this, then I have to convert to SCNF. So, first one gives not p x y or q x y, fine. Next one gives p y a, okay. Next not of this. So, that becomes there is y not q y a, okay. Then you have to choose a Skolem function for y, it does not entail q b y, but now you are choosing a Skolem function because you want SCNFs. So, Skolem function gives y replaced by some constant, it depends on nothing. So, this becomes simply not q b a. Is that right? Now, let us apply resolution. So, here it takes not p x y as one literal and not p y a as another literal, he wants to unify those two. So, problem is find sigma to unify not p x y not p y a. Okay. So, how does it find? it matches them, it gets the substitution x by y. Okay. So, it gets x by y. After applying x by y, it gets not p y y, not p y a. Again it chooses another substitution which is y by a, it composes them to get your sigma. Okay. So, once y by a is applied, they unify to p a a. Okay. Then what happens? Not p x y now becomes not p a a, and this one becomes p a a, right. So, these two unify and then resolution is applied. So, both x and y has become a now, because this composition is simply x by a, y by a, right, because in x by y you will apply y by a first, that x theta s, right, or t theta. So, that way this x becomes a, y also becomes a, that is the composition. Is that okay? To get the composition, let us see, you will be starting with this set a, y by a, remember, right. With this set, this is x by a, then add to it the other one y by a, if y and x are not same, okay, and then delete x by x form. So, nothing is to be deleted here, that is the composition. So, now with this composition we get with this most general unifier x is a, y is a. So, not p a a gives you q a a. So, now what happens? Q a a and not q b a cannot be resolved upon, no unification is possible, because a is a constant, b is also a constant. So, the method fails, right. What is the reason why the method fails? See, even in SCNF we have seen it, while converting to SCNF of a formula, what is the first step? It is the rectification, right. You rectify, otherwise your pre-next form will be wrong, fine. So, what we have done here is each formula, each sentence has been rectified, but as a formula totally it is not rectified, right. So, while you are taking the most general unifier, these variables are shared in two clauses, y is a variable present here, y is also a variable present here, that is being shared, that is being captured by this most general unifier. So, most general unifier is incapable of producing that sharing of variables, its generality is lost because of the sharing of variables, right. So, while converting to SCNF, you must take care that the variables are not repeated in the clauses. So, that can be done by renaming or using a substitution which is a variant, which makes them different, not sharing the variables. Okay. So, while doing this, our first assumption is before the resolution that all the clauses have using separate variables, right, different clauses are using different variables, no share of variables is there, then only you can go for MGU and so on. Now, you can formulate the resolution rule. Suppose A is a clause, let us take two clauses having no variable in common. Then we go for the formulation of the resolution rule. So, let L1 be a literal in A and L2 be a literal in B. Then compute the most general unifier of these two literals L1 L2 with a not sign, that is what we had seen, right, L1 and not L2. Then what happens? The resultant of A B with respect to these two literals L1 L2 is sometimes we also write what is the MGU, what is the MGU being used there, or simply we write sometimes resolution of AB, even all these symbolisms are used. This will be equal to A minus this L1, then B minus L2, and then apply sigma. Okay. That is what we are doing here. You forget from this class Pxy, not Pxy, forget from this class Pya, right. Then take whatever is there, apply your most general unifier on that. So, Qxy x by a, y by a, that gives Qa. Is that okay? So, this is the resolvent. So, resolution rule says that from two clauses deduce its resolvent, whatever way you get the resolvent does not matter. Okay? Is it clear? Fine. We will take one more example. See, the first one is equivalent to for each x Px, right? Is it okay? Similarly, the second one is equivalent to for each u not Vu. So, clearly they should produce what term? They are unsatisfiable. Fine. So, let us apply resolution on that. Now, they do not have any variables in common. So, first one in SCNF will write as Px or Py, second one as not Pu or not Pv. Fine. Now, let us choose one as Px, another as not Pu. So, we will take negation of this and try to unify. So, our convention is if double negation comes, that is omitted in the literals, right. When you take the literal, you say not of that literal means if double negation, that is omitted. So, that means we want to unify Px with Pu. So, x by u, right. So, with this x by u, what do you get? You would get Py or not Pv. Okay. Now, sigma equal to x by u. Right. Now, when you take the further resolvent, say Px or Py and Py are not Pv. Fine. So, first thing is they are sharing a variable y. Okay. So, that should be renamed in one of the clauses. So, that means we may write this as say Pz or not Pv, then only we can go for resolution. Now, first two if I see say not Pv with Px. So, sigma I would choose x by v and that gives Py or Pz. Okay. Or if I do with this resolution, I would have chosen this as W. Okay. Now, it is having no common variable with this, even no common variable with this, anyway I can resolve. So, now when I resolve these two, so with which one? Pz with not Pu, so z by u or say u by z. So, these two go and these two remain W and Pv. Whatever way you go, either this way or that way, right. So, resolving this with first one or resolving this with the second one of the approaches we will be going. Then next you will try to resolve this, but this is in the same form as earlier. So, it looks it will go on, never ending process. Do you see what is happening? See, we had one danger here in the first example, second example, which says if you share the variables you will get into problems, you will not get the conclusions what you want. The other one is telling if you do not share the variables you will not get the conclusions what you want, right. So, second one anyway we have agreed, because always we can rename, but this one is a major hurdle, because always you can rename. So, there is no harm in renaming, then why do not you rename, but if you rename there is problem, it is going to be unending. So, this means resolution principle as we have formulated is not complete, perhaps there is another rule which we require to handle these kind of things, which the resolution or taking resolvents is not enough, right. So, we try to see what is happening here. Main thing is the equivalence we wrote here, for each y, for each x, px or py entails px, that we are not able to get from the resolution process, because they are not sharing the variables. Had they shared the variables say py or pv, now you can resolve px with not pv and get py directly, okay. So, this is the main problem there. Then we have a remedy. What we do is, even if they do not share the variables, we can do something with that. See, main thing is we have a class px, py, say not q, z. From this class we would like to infer px not qz or py not qz. This is what we want, okay. Px or py should give us just py, fine. So, which says that a subset of the set of literals can be brought down to one literal by applying some substitution, that is what it says, right. So, let us formulate, it is called a factor of this class, py not qz is a factor of px py not qz. So, let us define the factor. Suppose C is a class, is a set of literals, let D be a subset of C having at least 2 literals. Then you can unify them to one class. Let sigma be a unifier, or we can take most general unifier directly, be the most general unifier of D. So, that means once you take D sigma becomes a singleton, like your px py becomes py, then keep all the others, apply also sigma on that, that is the factor. So, we say then C sigma is a factor of C. Okay. So, this factor sometimes we write as factor of C with respect to this class set D, that is enough, because MG will be fixed by D itself if they are unified. Sometimes we also keep that sigma, right. So, what this suggests is not only deduce the resolution or resolvent of 2 classes, 2 literals, but along with that you have another rule, deduce also the factor. If there is a set of literals, deduce a factor of it, okay. So, let us redo that. So, here we have the class sets Px or Py, not Pu or not P. Now, how to choose a factor? So, we just take this set of literals Px or Py, fine. Now Px is a literal, Py is a literal, that is my D. There are two literals, so I just take D as that. So C is Px or Py, D I take also equal to C, Px or Py. Now their most general unifier is x by y, right. So sigma equal to x by y. Then this says if I start my deduction Px or Py as a hypothesis, I would go in the next step Py. My justification will be 1 and factor of 1 with sigma equal to x by y. That is how it will go. Next step I would do third one, which is my hypothesis, not PO or not PV. Okay. So that is my hypothesis, and fourth one I would go for factor again. So 3 factor of x by, this is u by v. Okay. So these line numbers can be omitted because anyway it is there. What are the formulas? Fine. Next I would say I resolve Py and not Pv. Fine. That would give bottom directly, because here sigma equal to, I will write the 9 numbers 2, 4, sigma equal to y by v. That is the most general unifier of Py, not Pv. Okay. Is that clear? That is all. So along with taking resolvents, we should have factors. That is what it says. Let us see one more example. What about this class set? It is unsatisfiable. Yeah, but how do we proceed? So instead of this t is a suppose a variable, u is a variable, then directly you can give, right, because these two will give resolution as bottom with sigma equal to t by u, right. That is clear. Now let us change it slightly. What happens if we change them to constants, let us say. Now we cannot take resolvent of these two, at least one variable there, then you can do, right, but there is no variable. So PA not PB, that is all. So something has to do with this equality, because they are equal, you can think of PA as PB also, that is why it is giving contradiction, right. Now as such it does not give any contradiction by resolution method, not even by factors, because factors also need variables to be substituted upon, fine. So you need something else here, that means resolution along with factor is not a complete method, it does not handle equality. Okay. So for this we have another rule, which is called the taking paramodulants, or we say just paramodulation. So it is a bit complicated, not so simple as those two, but we will see how to proceed. So, suppose A is a clause having say t equal to u belongs to A. So, here I am taking t and u as general terms, not only constants or variables, general terms. A is a clause, t equal to u belongs to this, like this, and then let us say x of s belongs to B. So, here when you write x of s, it means x is a literal where s is a term which occurs in x, fine. X of s means that here, this is the notation. Okay. Then paramodulant of A and B is A minus t equal to u, then B minus x s. So, take their union, join to that x u, and then is a most general unifier of s and t. So, here we need most general unifier of terms. Then the rule of paramodulation says that from two clauses A and B deduce their paramodulant. Suppose this is my t, this is my u. Okay. So, let us say t equal to A and u equal to B. Then we should have another literal in B, another clause, let us say in A, P A. So, S equal to A and X S equal to P A. Okay. We have two clauses. Then this says first delete t equal to u from A. So, we can write this one as delete t equal to u, delete x s or x of u, apply sigma most general unifier of S t. This is the paramodulation process. Okay. So, let us do that. Now, if I delete t equal to u, there is nothing in A. Okay. I delete x of s from B, there is nothing there. Okay. Then I add x of u, which is P, u is B, right. Then apply sigma, which is most general unifier of S and T. S is A and T is A. So, sigma is empty, there is no variable in it. Let us call it empty substitution, nothing is applied, right. It is kept as it is. It is the identity of the composition of substitutions. So, that means this becomes P B. This is what we required, right. So, from T A equal to B and P A, you are able to infer now P B because of paramodulation, right. Usually this is the form you will be using most of the time, fine. Suppose you have S equal to T and some P S, then you should be able to infer from this P T. This is what it says, right. But it is a bit more complicated, it can handle still bigger things, not only this much, that is why this rule. Okay. So, this example can be done now, because from these two we would get P B by paramodulation, then take resultant of P B and not P B, that gives the answer. Okay. So, we have the third rule of paramodulation. Okay. Is it enough or we are going to give more, because equality it looks we can handle, but there is one problem. In all of these 3 rules you need at least 2 literals to apply anything. Can you see that? In taking the resolvents you need at least 2 literals on which you apply the resolvent. Okay. Then in taking the factors you need at least 2 literals in D, so that they will unify to become 1 literal. Fine. In paramodulation you need at least 2, S equal to T and X of S or X of U. In fact 3 are there, but some of them can be same, so at least 2 will be required. Okay. Now how do you infer T equal to T, which is valid? This is valid, right? Now how does resolution method will give T equal to T? It cannot. Okay. Because everyone needs 2. Well, you can repeat it. You can repeat it as 2. Suppose you repeat, can you still get? So that this is valid. So if you repeat, that means what will happen? Phi entails T equal to T, that is what you have to prove, not T equal to T entails T equal to T. Okay. So it seems nothing, still it gives nothing. So what we do is, this will be our 4th rule, anywhere you can deduce T equal to T, because that is what we are not able to get. Fine. So altogether there will be 4 rules of resolution. One is taking resolvent, another is taking factors, third one is taking paramodulants, fourth is the equality. It looks like an axiom now, anywhere you can introduce it, you can deduce from anything, right. So let us write the rules. So first rule is our taking resolvents. This says if you have a clause C along with some literal say L1, okay, and then another which is D and another literal say L2, then from this you conclude C or D of sigma, right. So what are the conditions here? Sigma equal to most general unifier of L1 not L2, right, and then C or L1, D or L1 they do not have any common variables, that is also required. Fine. So no common variables, we will just write this way. These are the conditions. Then from these two you can deduce this. Next we have the factors. Which says if you have C or L1 or Lk, then from this you can conclude C sigma, where sigma equal to most general unifier of all these clauses, all these literals L1 to Lk, right. So finally this one will come to C sigma, C sigma and one of these say L1 sigma, right, because once you apply this sigma, L1 sigma equal to L2 sigma equal to Lk sigma, all of them become same. So that remains and all the others with sigma, right, that is your factor rule. So next one is taking paramodulants or paramodulation. So there we have say some clause along with T equal to U, okay, and there is another class with x depending on S. From these two you conclude C or D or x of u and then sigma, fine, where sigma is MGU of which one? MGU of S and T. Okay. So, there we are writing in the notation C minus something. Now, that C is this total thing, that earlier C, right. So, it will be easier to apply this way. Next rule is our equality, which looks like an axiom. So, wherever it is, you do not need anything here, you can infer T equal to T. That is all. These are the rules of resolution, right. So, this is really a complete procedure now. We will not prove this, but we will see in some examples how it is applied. And these two rules of resolution and factor, they are really combined together, that is called the generalized resolution, or sometimes they call this one as binary resolution and their combination is the resolution, where what happens is you just modify the resolution rule. In the resolution rule you are taking L1 as a literal, L2 as a literal, then taking their unification, right. So, what happens in the general case, instead of L1 you take a subset of literals here, it is a set of literals, this is also a set of literals, then they are unified. Once unified, omit all of them, get this direct. Okay. If you do that way, then that will be the generalized resolution, so that you do not need the factor rule, but while using manually this will be easier than choosing a subset and going on doing it. So, what are the first steps we will be doing? Reductio ad absurdum, right. So, first we will take this, okay, use deduction theorem because it implies. So, you take this to the other side, bring it here, okay. Then array, so that gives this entails bottom. So, you want a resolution refutation always, it should end with bottom. So, these are the premises now from which we have to start. They might be sharing variables, that we have to take care, they should not share variables, right. Now, what is the next one? Is it rectified? Yes, for all x there is y, there is z, they are all different variables, first one is rectified, but then you have to pull the quantifiers and bring it to SCNF. So, how to pull the quantifiers? Z does not occur everywhere, anywhere here, right. So, this Z can be brought to, there is Z, then similarly there is Y, but there is Y will become for all Y, okay. It is before the implication sign. So, T y and B x y implies P z and G x z, okay. What about this? Not there is x T x. So, this we will write as for each x not T x, which you would like to change x to something else. So, you will write as for each u not T u, okay. You want different variables in different clauses, but that may not guarantee. After only converting to this, you can know what are the clauses. That will be in SCNF, this is a conjunction of disjunctions. In each conjunct you should use different variables, fine, that we will see, if needed we will give there. Now, what about the last one, that is there is x, there is y, T y and B x y, as it is, only we have to change the variables. Say there is V, there is W, T w and BVW. Fine. So, we leave it here. Then next job we have to do is convert this one to SCNF, convert this one to FCNF, which already is, all these three have to be converted, and then get the class sets, apply the resolution, right. So, this is what we will be doing next. Okay. So, we stop here. So, all that we have done is just formulated the resolution rules.